This feels a lot more awkward than I thought it would. Like, I don't know why I'm like, I have stage fright. Like, I'm kind of nervous. Like, I feel like there's a lot of pressure right now. Is this even on? It's on. I'm really hoping you guys can hear me. Doing this whole like setup, like setting all of this up, was actually more complex than I thought it would. Like, I'm not a camera equipment type of person. I'm not an audio equipment type of person. I never used a microphone or anything before. So I have like wires around. Lucy was just trying to eat my wires, so I'm really hoping there was no internal damage. But is this the start? Is this the beginning? I guess we're just getting into it. Are we getting into it? Like, how do people freaking do this? This is scary. I'm scared. Like, is the mic too high? Is it too low? Or am I too loud? I don't know. Once I get into it, maybe I'll be less nervous, but like I'm kind of freaking nervous right now. You guys have built up my ego and gassed me up so much that somehow I think that I can just talk to a microphone about God knows what and that people will watch it. Like, you guys have really, the delusion that you guys have placed on me is real. And hello? Yeah. Okay. Bye. Okay. We're already starting off with our interruptions. It's okay. Yeah, you guys have really, like, I think awakened something that's so delusional in me that I really think that I could just like, talk to a microphone and like, you know, talk for hours and that you guys will listen. But like at the same time, that's technically what I do on YouTube. And I don't know. I think I do have a lot to say. Like, I've always felt like I have a lot to say. So I feel like I've always wanted to do a podcast, but then also like like I didn't want the seriousness of it. Like, I don't like starting a podcast really like feels like starting a business, because it is a business essentially. So like when people start podcasts, they're like, okay, I need Spotify, I need Apple Music, I need a logo, I need names, and I was just like, all of that was like, no, I don't want that. I don't want that at all. I just want to put something on the internet where I'm just talking a whole lot of shit that like nobody really asked for, but I'm giving it to them anyways and hoping that they enjoy it. So that's what this is. This is the pod. It has no name yet. It has no anything yet. I don't even know if it's gonna stick because I don't know if you guys are gonna like it. But all I have is a microphone and my camera, and like that's what we're going off of. And I have a list of things that I want to say. I'm sorry. I feel like this is giving like weird ASMR. I have like this like power trip over buying this mic though. Like, I think the mic was like, y'all gonna have to like tame me down because like the way that I'm like really excited to be holding this mic, like I feel like I am a red carpet interviewer. I have like a list of ideas, nothing coherent. Like, there's no theme to this podcast, there's no nothing. I'm kind of just like giving my opinions on things that like I think about and stuff that I have to say. So it's like gonna be pretty random topics, honestly. So I don't know. Hopefully, you guys resonate with a few of them, all of them. I'm hoping, put this on while you're cleaning, whatever. I've been thinking about this first topic that I wanted to discuss for a while, and I feel like it's very fitting for like the first episode of my podcast because I'm very self-centered. Okay, self-centered, not selfish. I like to differentiate because I feel like one is like, ooh, the other is like, selfish is like, I see that as somebody that will like doesn't care about anybody else but themselves, will do anything, like walk over people, all this stuff. Selfish people do things with only themselves in mind, even if they hurt other people. I feel like that's a good definition. But self-centered, I feel like, is a more subconscious thing. Like, I think my brain just revolves around me, but not in a negative way. It's just like I'm always kind of thinking about myself. I'm a very like introspective person. Like, I like to think about the way my brain works, childhood traumas, like attachment styles, like all of that stuff. Like, I like to me, very much me. To get back to the topic. The first topic that I chose is I kind of wanted to tell you guys all of my insecurities. Some are surface level, some are like deeper and probably should be discussed with a therapist, but like this could be the therapy. Sorry if this is a really self-centered start, but I don't know. I like talking about myself. So I figured this would be the easiest way for me to start this is to talk about myself. First insecurity is that I'm a really loud person. I feel like this has I feel like it's kind of decreasing a little bit just because I feel like I'm not as loud as I used to be. Not for any purposeful reason, but like over the past month I've realized that like my vibe has kind of mellowed out. Like I like when I'm excited about things, I don't have this like raging desire to like belt at the top of my lungs and like scream, which is that's normally my desire. That's normally like what I want to do. Is like I'm always just yelling. I'm always loud. Where does this come from? Okay, so like I know I'm an extra person. I know my personality is a lot. Like I know I have a lot of energy. I know I talk a lot. I get very loud, excitable. I blame my dad. My dad is a very loud individual, so I think it's like generational loudness. I think it like becomes an insecurity because have I been like outright judged for it? I don't think I've been like outright judged for it. But like, okay, no. My biggest pet peeve or like the like most terrifying, like heart-wrenching thing that anybody could say to me is like you're acting annoying or like you're too much or like calm down. Oh my god. The calm down kills my soul. And I feel like it's cuz like I know that like my personality is a lot. I don't know, when I'm around people that kind of have a more mellow, kind of like chill vibe, it always makes me feel like I'm doing too much. And I feel like that is because people have probably told me that I'm doing too much, so I probably internalized that. I feel like the first one started off, I was like, I'm kind of confused. Was that an insecurity? I don't know, but we're gonna move on. My second insecurity is that Lucy, please, now's not the time. I'm already scared enough. Okay, here she comes. There she is, guys. She's stepping all over my technology. All over it. Lucy, please choose a place to sit if you would like to stay. Choose a place to sit. Preferably over there. There. Good job. Such a good spot. No. Stay. She won't stay. She's not a stay type of cat. She's a I go where I want to go. See, she's going where she wants. Lucy, you're going to ruin the podcast. Okay. My second insecurity is that I am not feminine enough. This one, I go back and forth with, okay? I feel like fashion-wise, I feel like I'm pretty, like, mask-presented. I know fashion has no gender. There's no none of that. But in the societal standards and ancient societal standards terminology pre-Gen Z, I would describe my desire for fashion to be pretty mask. So, like, baggy clothing, oversized clothing, not as much tight clothing that is normally correlated, or that's not the word for it, but like that's normally like associated with feminine energy, like tight dresses. That's never been my vibe though, like never. And it's not to be like I'm not like most girls, because that shit also gets me so fucked. Like you are like most girls. Most girls don't like dresses, all right? They're an uncomfortable garment. It makes sense that people wouldn't like them. But, I've always been pretty I feel like femininity. Since I was a kid, it actually, I feel like, concerned my parents. Because I think I took it to another level where I was a little bit, like, satanic. Moral of the story is, you can never put me in a dress. I would literally rather claw my eyes out than wear a dress. Two things have made me develop this kind of insecurity that comes and goes with not being as feminine for society. The first thing I feel like is social media. I feel like, especially on YouTube or Instagram specifically, people normally post their best selves on Instagram, which makes sense. I'm not going to post the ugliest picture that I've ever seen of myself on the internet. It's just not me. I'm not going to do it. I'm sure some people can do it. I'm not going to do it. I want to post the best picture. Like if I've taken 100 pictures, I'm going to post the best one, right? So I feel like on Instagram, the people that I follow, I see a lot of women that have their nails just look so fire. Nails fire. Hair laid. Jewelry eccentric. Like outfit amazing. Like, and I feel like I tied that to femininity, which it's not necessarily, I guess the right word would be like put together. I see everybody so put together on the internet, on Instagram, even on YouTube. Like some of the YouTubers that I watch and I like click on a video and they just always have their shit together, like looks wise. Like nails are always done, edges are always laid, eyelashes are always to the gods. And it makes me feel insecure that I'm not always done to the nines and like not always done up. Because realistically, I don't do that unless I'm filming a glow up video for YouTube. Like, I'm being 100% honest. When I film those glow up videos, those are normally the only times that I like get myself going, which I also feel like is the case for majority of people. Like, I'm not special. Like, you know, a lot of people don't get their nails done, don't get their hair done. But I think it's just because you see, like, social media pretty much shows you people always put together. I think I do internalize that insecurity of like maybe I should be more feminine, like maybe I should be more put together, maybe I should have my nails done more often, like, you know. But then that also ties into the second reason. It also comes from a fear of not receiving male validation, which makes me sick to my stomach to admit that. Ugh, like, disgusting. Like, that is disgusting. I feel like because I hate the male gaze more than anything. That's an exaggeration, but I hate the male gaze a lot. But I'm also straight. I'm like very, very, very straight. Sadly, because I hate the male gaze. It's a very conflicting cycle. Like do not look at me, but also look at me because I'm straight. You know, it's hard, very hard. Deep down in the straightness of being a straight woman, I have this unhealthy desire to have male validation, which I feel like, you know, makes sense, you know, for queer people or a lesbian woman. She would have a desire to have female validation. It's just like you want to be validated by the people that you find attractive. So I guess like the norm of that is that like the male species I guess, or the male gaze finds femininity more attractive, but like I don't resonate with femininity. So it's like a constant back and forth and back and forth. I know that there's like a lot of men and people that like don't give a fuck about like femininity, masculine, like they don't care. And that's probably the only reason that I'm not going to end up single in my lifetime. It's still just there, you know. I really thought that these would be like some of the two easiest ones to explain. But for some reason, like, I don't know, I'm just like conflicted on like why do I have these insecurities? I feel like saying it out loud is like, what the fuck? But like also I forgot to give my disclaimer at the beginning of this episode. One of my biggest pet peeves is like when I tell somebody that I have a problem and then they like negate my problem. Let's say, for example, this isn't like on my list, but let's say one of my insecurities is my eyebrows. And then like one of like somebody's like, no, but like you have the most beautiful eyebrows. Like my issue isn't like it's not like I know. Like I know, but like deep down I don't know. Like if I'm insecure about my eyebrows, somebody telling me that my eyebrows looks good isn't going to help my insecurity, cuz like I don't need people to like negate or be like, no, but like you're this, no, you don't need to feel that, but like I do, like, you know what I'm saying, like I do feel this way. So I'm just telling you guys how I feel, but that doesn't necessarily mean that like I need it to change or that I need it to be fixed. You know, that's what it is. Sometimes like when I say stuff and it's like people feel like they need to make me feel better about it, but it's like I don't feel bad about it. Like I don't feel bad about any of my insecurities. Like I'm self-aware that I have them, but they don't control my life, I think. I don't have negative perceptions on them. They don't negatively impact my life. All that's to say, please do not negate my insecurities, okay? If I was insecure about my eyebrows, just please let me be insecure about my eyebrows. Please do not tell me my eyebrows look good. I don't know, I guess that's my explanation. Like, it's fighting between the fact that I'm not that into femininity, but I feel like the internet wants me to feel like I need to be feminine, but also like the men that I'm interested might also want me to be feminine, so it's like it's a scary thing. And then it's like, but yeah, we're gonna move on. I feel like this next one is gonna be easy because it's like very superficial. The way that I sound when I hear myself talk, I feel like a lot of people have this insecurity, like where like your friends recording you or something and you're talking, or you record yourself and you hear it back and you're like, who the hell is that demon? I hate that. And it's also because like my job is like hearing myself all the time. So it's like I'm constantly editing my YouTube videos, and I'm going to be editing this, and I'm going to be hearing myself and like cringing. It's like cringy. But also my music teacher, I took like a music history class last semester or something, and she told me that like the way we hear ourselves in our phone, like that recording, is how people actually hear us, like because of the different ways that the sound bounces across the room or whatever, like the way that we hear ourselves when the words are coming out of our mouth is fake. It's fraudulent. It's not real. The way that people hear us is how we hear ourselves when we hear our voices recorded. So that's terrifying. That's terrifying. Because terrifying. But yeah, that one was pretty easy. Next one is my sense of style. And I think I'm insecure that I don't know what it is. I'm insecure that I have no idea what my identity in style is. It's like I know that I don't need to know who I am in style and like what I want my identity to be in style, but I think being on the internet makes me be like, ugh, like shouldn't I know? Like, I go to certain people because of their identification with style and like their confidence in their style. So like shouldn't people be able to come to me for my identity and style, but I don't even know what the hell my style is? Like my style is 30,000 different aesthetics. I don't get it. I can't put the outfits together. Like when I watch people, or like again on Instagram or like Pinterest, like oh my god, I'll go on my Pinterest board. I'll literally have the same clothing pieces. I'll have the same jeans, like pretty much the same top. And then I put it on and somehow it doesn't look like such an amazing outfit as it did on the other person. So like I'm insecure that I can't really put outfits together. I'm also insecure that I don't know what my style is. I'm also insecure that like my style isn't anything special, like that my style is like everything else, but at the same time I get my style from the internet. So of course my style is going to be everything else. Like I don't have this visionary mindset. Like I'm not in FIT. Okay, like and I'm not there for a reason. Like I don't know shit about fashion. Like when people can get their style inspo from a magazine, I need a TikTok of somebody telling me where to buy the piece, what size, how to style it. Like I can't just like I'm not a fashion visionary. So this next one, I need a big breather for this next one because it's got layers. Also, I feel like this is a little all over the place, so I'm sorry. Cut me some slack. This is the first episode. I'm also realizing that a lot of my insecurities, I'm not even sure if they're really insecurities or like something else. So my next insecurity is that I am basic. That's it. It has a lot of layers because it's both appearance wise and like personality / life wise. Starting out with appearance wise. For this, I solely blame society for ruining Black women's perceptions of themselves. Okay. Fuck you, society. Thank you. I was watching this YouTube video of this guy who kind of like reviews TV shows and stuff like that. And he was kind of talking about, I forgot, like, and I don't want to like botch his words, but basically the premise of what he was talking about was how Hollywood loves to cast light-skinned Black women, but more specifically, light-skinned mixed race women. He was kind of talking about how like that is kind of written off as like Black women representation, and how, people are kind of, Hollywood is basically saying, we're giving you Black representation, here's a bunch of mixed race people. Which I'm not like boo, like I'm not like, aggravated. I'm not like upset. Like representation is representation. Sure. I feel like just like doing that and then writing it off as like Black women representation creates a lot of toxicity and a lot of insecurities in young Black women. Hollywood has this obsession with writing off like racial ambiguity or like racially ambiguous people as Black women. And sometimes they'll even do it in a problematic way where they'll have a mixed race actress or actor, and then they'll write them in a script as like 100% black. And I think that's more problematic than Hollywood thinks it is, or that people think it is, because the internet media has an obsession with racial ambiguity. Racial ambiguity. Take Zendaya. Take Zoe Kravitz. Yes, they are black. They're also mixed race people. And I think like not acknowledging that, and like not acknowledging like the fact that they have like loose textured hair, lighter skin, certain features, like all of this stuff that's not included in the scripts that is like there, and it's like I'm seeing it because like I'm a black woman. It's like I don't fit the mold of racial ambiguity. Like I'm just black. I'm just black. I'm not black and white. I'm not black and Hispanic. I'm just black. And I feel like there's not that many, or really at all, just black actresses or like just black characters that are like 100% like just black. And I think that's like a dangerous thing that a lot of young black girls can internalize, like myself, because we don't see the representation of our hair texture. Like, it's normally loose textured curls are the ones that Hollywood casts. And sometimes I don't even really see like brown skinned. There's rarely ever dark skinned leads. Is there I feel like Issa Rae shows are the only ones where I really get that vibe, because she casts herself or she casts other people, you know what I'm saying? But I feel like she also understands because she's lived it. She's a black girl, so she gets it. She gets the importance of just not having this racial ambiguity and letting black people be special for just being black, and not having to like add something in for them to be accepted by Hollywood. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's like Hollywood only wants to accept black women if they have this extra spice, if they have this extra twang, like this extra ethnicity to them. That has been something that's been internalized since I was young. It's made me feel that I am basic appearance-wise because I don't look racially ambiguous. Like, even modeling agencies, like, I always say, like, agencies like Wilhelmina or anything, or just anything, modeling in general. I'm always like, well, I can't be a model because I just look like a regular black girl. They don't want a regular black girl. They want something that's like pizzazz. You know what I'm saying? They want something that they could like turn into art and all this stuff. And it's like they don't want that from me. They're like, you're basic. You're basic. You're a basic black girl. We don't want you. But also, like, I wrote this down. I said that that's not to discredit their work, but as a brown skin, non-mixed race black girl, I think I've internalized that you have to have something extra to be appreciated by the media. There's different expectations for us. It's like we have to work 10 times harder just in regular life, right? But I feel like for the media, it's different, where it's like we work 10 times harder in an appearance way, where it's like you have to be 10 times more different for you to be accepted in the room. Like, you have to have something that's so, like, your hair either has to be huge and long and curly, or you have to have vitiligo, like Winnie Harlow, or you have to have, like, crazy blue eye, like, like, you have to have something special for them to be like, ooh, kind of like they're kind of, like, picking you out of, like, a freaking, what's it called? A zoo? And they're like, we want the most crazy looking one, or we want the most interesting looking one. You're not interesting. You look like the rest of them. Okay, sorry, my camera died. It's definitely impacted my relationship with my natural hair, for sure. I feel like there's not enough different hair type representation in the media, in television. It's definitely impacted the way that I see my features. Like, when I was a kid, I used to have such a big insecurity in my nose shape. Like, a huge insecurity. Because, like, the people that I saw on television, you know what I'm saying, like, their noses were tiny, they were pointy, they were different, and my nose wasn't that. And it's like, representation is so freaking important. It's so freaking important, especially for young people, because we don't realize how much subconsciously, like, soaks into our brain. And, like, subconsciously, it was getting soaked into my brain that, like, all these stars, all these celebrities, all these people didn't look like me. But, like, I looked like everybody else. Like, I looked like everybody else. I looked like the people that I see on the street. So I was like, wait, are you picking up what I'm putting down? Let's get into the personality slash lifestyle one, because this one this one is very hard for me to admit out loud because I feel like it sounds so out of touch. It's not necessarily that I think my personality is basic, because I have way too high of a perception of my personality. Like, I think if somebody could sit down and have a conversation with me, they would probably be like, wow, that was the best conversation I've ever had. Like, you know what I'm saying? I have a very high perception of myself. But I think of my life, I'm like, shit's basic. Not all of us, but many of us in life want to feel like the main character, especially like after like that girl, the it girl, that type of like trend or like form of language started to come about, or like main character energy, like all that shit started to come about. And like everybody kind of like wanted to be this main character. They wanted to like radiate this type of energy that literally we see main characters have on our TV screens. And, you know, I try to like say like, oh yeah, I'm the main character, but like in reality, I pretty much know that I am literally just the funny best friend side character that's there for comedic relief and diversity. Like, that's my role. That would be my role. If my life was cast, and if me, Maya Beatriz, were cast as myself, that would be my role. I'm the diversity comedy token. I'm not the main character, because my life isn't that interesting. My life is basic. And it's like, there's nothing wrong with basic, but it's just an insecurity of mine. It's just an insecurity of mine that, like, I am just so regular. Like, I am so regular. It's like the regular of regular. There was actually, like, now this is when I'm like, it seems so out of touch. Okay, and I'm going to tell you guys this, and you cannot, like, please don't get mad. Okay, and please don't make fun of me. When I was in middle school, all of my friends had divorced and separated parents. Okay? And I would hear my friends come to school and they would be like, yeah, I just came from my dad's house. And then they would tell the teacher, they were like, I left my homework at my dad's house. I can bring it later when I go to my mom's house. Their lives just seemed so frantic, so like all over the place. And me as like a product of non-divorced parents, I was like, why the hell are my parents not divorced? What the hell? Like, why don't I go to my dad's house on the weekends and my mom's house during the week? Like, what is going on here? Like, why are we not interesting? I literally thought my family wasn't interesting because my parents were together. Like, is that not, but mind you, I was like 11. Okay, I was 11 to like, I obviously don't think this right now, but like I was 11. It's like a genuine thought, because also it's like, nobody, you know what it really is also? It's like, nobody would want to write a story about me. And I think as a writer, as a like film major and all that stuff, you know, I like to think that like my life could be a story. Or actually, like, I don't. Because like, okay, so like, I'm sorry, I'm all over the place. But like, okay, realistically, do I want to be a main character? Probably not. Main characters go through shit. You know what I'm saying? They go through a lot of trauma, a lot of heartache, you know, to get the plot going, to get the conflict going. The side characters are normally like pretty much very happy. So like, of course, like I don't want to be unhappy. So I guess it's like, why the fuck do I have this insecurity? I don't like like I don't know. Like I think it's also okay. So maybe it is the whole media thing. Maybe it's because I watch too much TV. I look up to the main characters. Like, I look up to who they are, what they go through, but it's like none of their lives are none of their lives resemble mine, which it's like I'm happy about, because like, should we take 𝐤𝐮𝐬𝐢𝐽 Gilbert? I guess 𝐤𝐮𝐬𝐢𝐽 Gilbert is like a common kind of like person that everybody knows, but like I don't like 𝐤𝐮𝐬𝐽 Gilbert. I never want to be 𝐤𝐮𝐬𝐽 Gilbert. But like, you know, to give an example, like she was literally in a car crash, watched both of her parents die, and then she found the two loves of her life. Like, I like, maybe it's just that the media romanticizes trauma, and maybe that's been internalized. There's a lot of internalization. Are we seeing it? Are we seeing a pattern? Internalization. Okay, internalization. Yeah, maybe the media just likes to write trauma into a lot of main characters. Take 13 Reasons Why. No, actually no, because the whole cast was traumatic. That was all traumatic. But yeah, 𝐤𝐮𝐬𝐽's a good example. Like, she went through utter trauma of trauma. Her brother died, came back to life, died again so many times. Like, shorty went through a lot. And I think I just envied that she went through so much. But like, at the same time, not really. Like, what is it? what is this? Like, why do I have such an issue with feeling regular? Like, why do I have it? Like, I'm really asking myself that. I don't know. I don't have the answer. I think this is when therapy would be important. Like, I genuinely hate that I'm well, I guess regular is a bad thing to say. You know what I'm saying? But like that's why I say like basic. I think what my therapist would say, she would say like go back to your childhood. Okay? So, I think it might have to do yeah, no, that's what it is. It has to do with the attention. And I think as a person with an anxious attachment style, attention is something I need. These main characters, they get all the attention. And that's what it is. Nobody cares about the side characters. Nobody cares about the side characters. Nobody really wants to be them. Nobody wants to like look to them, any of this stuff. So they don't get the attention. It's like I never really pay attention to the funny black best friend. She's just there, because Hollywood is freaking crazy. I was like talking with my mom about this the other day because I admitted it to her, and it was like this is like a thing that like really like overarched my childhood, and it's like I only now told her about it, but it was basically I was telling her kind of like about my thing about like how much I feel like I'm so basic, and it's like it's a weird insecurity of mine. And I was saying it because like when I was like really young, like members of my family were like struggling with like real world like mental health struggles and stuff like real world shit, like real like heavy traumatic shit. Because I was like, I don't know why I envied that. Like I envied my family's like clinical depression. I was envying clinical depression, which is like why, and I'm like why, like what, like I was asking like why did I do that. And she was basically like describing like when you were young, the people that have clinical depression, they get more attention. And it was like, and then I was thinking back to my childhood, and I was like, fuck, that was the issue the entire time. It was like, and like rightfully so, like people were going through real shit. And I was like, and I would like sit in my bed, and then I would just like I think I would try to like manipulate myself into a depression. You know what I'm saying? Like I would listen to the sad music and stare at the ceiling so that I could be like, oh, I'm so moody, like all this shit. And I was like, I didn't really understand it. I didn't understand it until now, looking back. It's like it was a cry for attention. Like I just wanted attention, and I felt like in order to get attention, I needed trauma. I needed that. I needed to experience some real shit. So, yeah. That's like the most that's like the most fucked up thing that like I've like, and that thought, I used to hate it. Like I used to hate that I would be like jealous. Like I was genuinely jealous of my family members for having like clinical like depression. And I would be like, why am I jealous? But then I realized it's like, those people like they would get more time with my parents. My parents would like go take them to therapy, or like my parents would go like sit down with them a little bit more, or like help them with their homework a little bit more. And it's like I kind of like always had my shit together. It's like they like nobody really expected anything to go wrong with me. So it's like they were kind of like, oh, Maya's cool, like she's cool. And that's not I don't want any of my parents to watch this and be like, oh my god, we ruined our child. No, I always feel bad when parents think that they'd like fucked up their kids. Some parents do fuck up their kids, okay? Like, I'm sure they do. But, like, it shapes you into who you're going to be. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not mad about it. I'm not mad about my lack of attention. I'm throwing myself in circles. But, yeah, that's kind of, like, the gist of, like, my deepest, darkest insecurity that still sticks with me today. Like, my life, where I'm just, like, my life is so regular. How am I going to get attention? Sorry. Yeah, I think this is really making me realize I do need a therapist, because I think I really need to talk to a professional about this. But I think that actually had a lot to do with shaping my entire personality. Like, I think that has to do a lot with my, like, obsession with the supernatural. Because when I was little, girl, the type of stuff that I was doing, I would invite friends over, and then I would force them to make witch potions. If it was a full moon, I would sit in front of my window in the middle of the night and like howl. like, I wouldn't howl, but like I would sit with a potion and do some like satanic rituals. There was a lot going on in my childhood. My childhood, looking back, I feel like is very funny and interesting. Now that I think about it, like I feel like a lot of that shaping of my personality probably happened because I wanted attention. Like I wanted people to be like, you're weird. Like, because if I was weird, at least you cared that I was weird. But like nobody cares about the person that's just normal. You know? Whoa. That shit's kind of deep. It's not deep, but like I feel like I just unlocked something like really, like, that really probably needed to be unlocked about myself. I would go to school with like a vampire cape and like fangs in my mouth. And like I really just thought like it was just because I was really into vampires, or like I really thought that like I was dead and stuff like that. But then I realized like I got so much validation from the attention that I got from people being like, "Are you a vampire? Like why are you doing that? Like you're so creepy. Like you can't, like why?" Like I thrived because at least they were looking at me. You know what I'm saying? Like at least they were paying attention to me. At least I wasn't invisible. Like I didn't care like how or why people were like paying attention. At least they were paying attention. Whoa. Crazy shit, man. We just discovered some crazy shit, man. But yeah. Okay, so like I feel like Lucy, please. We're on a good roll here. Don't mess it up. My next insecurity is in my thighs and in my butt. Okay? Now, you may be like, whoa, too surface level. All right, we were on such a roll. We were getting so deep, and now we're just going straight for the appearance. Like, come on, Maya, you could do better. Hear me out. Hear me out. This one, although it's not my biggest insecurity, it's definitely the one that has, it's like the, well, no, because that other one definitely impacted my life. But, like, this one definitely impacts my life in a major way. As my note for this one, I just wrote, fuck the male gaze. This goes back to that one about femininity and why I was like, oh, no, like, I'm definitely a straight woman, like, but I hate the male gaze, so, like, I need male validation, but, like, I also hate the male gaze. I wasn't always insecure about my thighs or my butt, because, first of all, most of my childhood, I was a gymnast and a ballet dancer. So, when you're a gymnast, you're normally very, very small. Like, you look very prepubescent. That's Simone Biles, Gabby Douglas. Like, you stay short, you stay stocky, and you don't really develop outside because you're growing so many muscles and stuff like that. So, I was always very slim. I was very, like, skinny. But, like, not skinny, but, like, I was just slim and muscular. Very, imagine, like, Gabby Douglas, but, like, 10. This insecurity started to develop once I stopped gymnastics, finally went through puberty, you know what I'm saying? Started to develop curves, started to develop fat, you know what I'm saying? Because I wasn't working out 30 hours a day. With that came an extreme amount of catcalling, like starting from, I would say like 13 or 14, like freshman year of high school was my real like propellant into the world of catcalling. And I think it's like definitely has to do with the fact that I live in New York City. So it's like, you gotta walk to school, you take the bus to school, like you're kind of like out in the world a lot more. Catcalling had such an impact on my mental health, my growth as a person, like all of that stuff. And I was just so angry. Like I would start to notice the patterns of like, oh, if I wore leggings, if I wore skinny jeans that like showed off my thighs or showed off my butt, I would get catcalled more today. Or like I would get followed home today. If I wear a dress, I would get followed home today. Maybe I should not do that so I don't get followed home. Like maybe I should not do that so that this 50-year-old man doesn't scream obscene words at me as I'm walking down the street with my backpack looking like a literal child. Two things happened. Okay, this was the first time that I was receiving male or boy attention, right? Because I went to a predominantly white middle school, so like nobody, I was invisible. Nobody saw me. And if they saw me, I was just there to kick a football because that's what I was good at. You know what I'm saying? So when I went to high school, I was like receiving like male attention that I did not understand. I was like, what the hell has changed? But then I realized that it was because people would say this to my face. They would be like, oh, Maya, we like you because of your ass. Like, my friends told me that. My friends were like, no, Maya, like, you have a really nice butt. Like, your butt is really nice. Like, not in a creepy way, like, just, like, in a friendly way. And then I started to realize, like, these boys, these 14, 13-year-old boys probably just like me because of my butt. So, so from in the beginning, I was like, yeah, like totally, dude. Like, let's go like straight for it. Like, totally, dude. Like, I'm so pumped for this because I was like, I went from never having a boy even have a crush on me to like then boys being like, oh, what's up? What's up? All because of my ass. So I was like, fuck yeah. Like, thank you. Thank you, puberty. Like, thank you so much. And then like when I would leave school and it was no longer 14-year-old boys and it was creepy uncles, 40-year-old men, scary looking, big, weird people that probably have daughters that are my age, men. And I was like, ugh. Okay, like apparently everybody else is seeing it too. Everybody else in the world is seeing that I apparently have developed an ass, and it's not just the teenage boys that I have crushes on. Scary. It took about a year of me being like, excited about all the crushes, but then also like getting followed home, getting accosted, verbally harassed, and like having that like really stick with me to then me hating my thighs and my ass because I was like, if I did not have a thigh, if I did not have a thigh, if I did not have thick thighs or I like, is it egotistical to describe myself having a fat ass? I don't know. But like if I did not have a fat ass, quote unquote, I would not be catcalled because I would also like look at other people. You're walking down the street, right? And it's like there's 5 other women on the street with you. And it's like I'm the only one getting picked out. And then I'm looking at like comparisons to these other people, and it's like, sometimes white women, but like it's also like then I started looking at those other people's body types and I was like, well, they're skinny, they're slim, they don't really have many curves. Like maybe that's what it takes to not have men yell unkind things at me on the street. Like I just need to get rid of these curves. Like I need my body shape to no longer seem attractive to men at all, because then that means they're no longer going to be attractive to these creeps, which now, I realize creeps are going to be creeps, and like creeps are creeps. It doesn't fucking matter. But I think it's still internalized me, and I still blame my thighs and my butt for my trauma of catcalling as a high school student. Crying, like I would come home because it just made me feel so gross. Like it made me feel so gross about myself. And what's the word? Don't forget this word. Sexualized. That's what it is. I always felt so overly sexualized, especially as a black woman. That's a whole another ordeal. Black women are overly sexualized to a complete crazy extent than our other counterparts, and it's freaking insane. I felt oversexualized and like degraded from like such a young age, and I blamed my own body. I was like, fuck my body, like you stupid piece of shit. Why can't you just be undesirable to these men so that they don't pick you out of the group? Like genuinely, like I was so upset that I was like born with so that's my dilemma of like hating the male gaze. I think that also has impacted the way that I dress now subconsciously. Like I do like baggy clothes because they're comfortable, but I also like baggy clothes because they feel 20 times safer for me. I like the fact that I can blend in as a little boy if I need to, or if, like, I don't know, like it could be a delusion because people still see me as a woman and I still like have the same struggles as a woman, but like it feels like a barrier, like when people can't see my body, because it just feels like if people are looking at me, okay, they're not looking at me because of my body, like I'm safe, I'm good. That's like a big, like I still have that insecurity, like when people like compliment those assets of mine, I'm like, please don't, it's a trigger. It's still pretty triggering, just because like catcalling is very, very triggering to me. It's like very, like, you do not want to get in fight with me about catcalling. I literally wrote a poem about it that won me a scholarship that's currently paying for my tuition. So, like I guess at least I got something out of it, but like triggering. And the other thing that like also propels this insecurity is clothing. The way that I look in certain clothes. It's like the certain clothes for certain styles that I want to wear don't fit me the way that I see them on other people. When I look at Bella Hadid, who is like, I love her fashion. I take her as a major fashion inspiration, or even Zendaya. And I look at her wearing stuff, and then it's like, I try to replicate that, but it's like, it doesn't look how I wanted it to look, or it doesn't look like her because our bodies are different. Again, that is representation. It's like having different body sizes be my inspiration for my clothing. But also, I think it's just that I feel like sometimes I can't wear tighter clothing because I'm more sexualized in tighter clothing than like people with other body types that are like skinnier. Bella Hadid will wear dress trousers, or she'll wear like some tight flowy pants, and it'll be like a cute streetwear fit. And then like I go to put on those tight flowy pants, and like all I see from the side is my voluptuous fat ass, and I'm like, fuck you, I don't want that. Because then it's just like, then I'm like, is that all that's gonna draw the attention? Like, I don't want attention drawn there, because it makes me uncomfortable. Like, it makes me very uncomfortable, and then it makes me feel like, okay, I can't wear clothes like that, you know what I'm saying? So it's like a circular cyclical insecurity. But again, I don't know if it's going to be fixed, because my perception on the male gaze is something that's very strong, and I don't think it's going to leave. Like, it's very terrifying to me, and I think it will always be terrifying to me, just based on my childhood, you know what I'm saying? And like catcalling trauma. Like, men, don't look at me. But again, also, I'm straight, so like at some point you'll have to look, like, you know what I'm saying? But like, it's a lot. Final insecurity is my gums when I smile. I don't notice this one as much anymore. This used to be really, 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 like, I used to really hate this shit. Like, cause when I smile, if you're looking, I feel like it's kind of gotten less, but like, my gums are like darker, which I think is prominent in a lot of black people, to have like darker gums, and it would just like weird me out, and I would like always feel like I looked like I had like fudge at the top of my mouth, or that like my mouth was like dirty or something. So like I would never like to smile like that. Like, I would never like to like fully smile. I would just resort to never smiling. Yeah, I don't know if I never smiled because of that. I think I never smiled because of we made a really big realization today, guys. We made a really big realization that Maya lacked attention. Well, not lacked attention, but like Maya was an attention seeker as a child. And I think that's the underlying cause of a lot of things. Because I was like, when I was a kid, I wouldn't hug anybody. I was like very like skeeved out about physical touch. Like, I would not smile. Like, I had this whole like emo, but like not really emo. Like, just like this, like, I had a weird persona about me. But I think it was because it gave something, like, it gave people something to like say about me. You know what I'm saying? Like, they would be like, oh, Maya, yeah, she just doesn't smile. Like, that's just her. Like, she doesn't smile. Or like, Maya, yeah, you can't hug her. She's different. She's not like most girls. I'm just now realizing my entire life I've been trying to not be like most girls. I hate that for myself. I hate that myself. I genuinely hate when people are like, I'm not like most girls, or like when you can tell their energy is giving off, I'm not like most girls. Like, bitch, you are. You are. There's like billions of girls. Do you think you're not like most of them? But I'm starting to realize that like the way that I acted as a child, being like, I don't hug people, I don't smile, I'm not like most girls, I'm sick to my stomach. Those are all of my insecurities. I feel so good. Like, I feel so, not even just freer, but I just feel good that I got to talk about myself. I genuinely feel like one of my biggest fears in this world is leaving this world without people listening to what I have to say. Like, again, the attention. Oh, so what have we learned today, guys? Maya has attention issues, and this is the cause of everything in life. Now I kind of don't want to leave. Like, I feel like I just started like getting into, like, I started getting into the flow. Like, you know, I started getting all like hyper, like convo got real good. But yeah, I guess that's the end of the episode. I guess I could just do this again next week in the next one. Ooh, or I could film the next one right. I'm gonna film the next one right now. I'm gonna film it right now. Okay, so stay tuned for the next podcast. If I'm wearing the same outfit, you know I filmed it right after this one. So thank you guys for listening. Please, please, please comment down below. Tell me if you're into this, if you hate it, if you think it's the worst thing that I've ever done. I don't necessarily know if I'll listen though, because this was cathartic. This was therapeutic. Like, I loved doing this. You know, you guys set me up for that. You guys literally told me, Maya, you could talk about anything and we'll listen. So I ran with that, and I'm running with that. So please don't let me down. Yeah. Okay. Thanks for listening. I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye. Bye.